Tonight's headlines: Duterte issues EO on coconut industry development. Marcos picks Clarita Carlos as NSA chief. Philippines reports 192 new COVID-19 cases. LTFRB okays 1 peso fare hike for jeepneys in Metro Manila. Philippines, Germany sign labor deals. Celtics ready for Warriors challenge. And stocks index rises anew. Good evening. Today is Wednesday, June 8, 2022. I'm Miguel Pautagona and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. President Rodrigo Duterte has signed an executive order approving the development plan for the coconut industry, which would pave the way for the release of a 75 billion pesos trust fund for coconut farmers from cocoa levy assets sequestered by the government. In his EO 172 signed on June 2, Duterte said the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan is hereby approved. The CFIDP shall be implemented by the Philippine Coconut Authority pursuant to the Republic Act No. 11524 or Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund Act, which was signed into law in February 2021. The RA 11525 creates a trust fund which will be capitalized, managed, invested, utilized, and accounted for according to the plans and programs of the CFIDP. In issuing EO 172, Duterte said there is a need to approve the CFIDP to increase overall productivity and income of coconut farmers, alleviate poverty, and achieve the twin objectives of rehabilitating and modernizing the coconut industry to attain social equity. President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. has picked University of the Philippines professor Clarita Carlos and Abono Party List Representative Conrado Estrella as National Security Advisor and Agrarian Reform Chief, respectively. The two have accepted the offer, the Marcos camp said. Marcos earlier said that Carlos, a noted political science professor, could help his administration with her knowledge of foreign policy and international politics. Carlos was a panelist at the SMNI presidential debate in March, the only debate Marcos participated in during the election period. The Department of Health on Wednesday logged 192 new COVID-19 infections, increasing the total nationwide COVID-19 tally to 3,692,084. This is the third straight day with less than 200 new infections. Based on DOH's latest data, the country's active cases slightly increased to 2,440 from 2,437 on Tuesday. No new COVID-19 deaths were recorded in the last 6 days, while a total of 3,629,188 people have been counted as recoveries from the virus. According to DOH, the regions with the most cases in the last 2 weeks were National Capital Region with 1,191, followed by Calabarzon with 375 and Central Luzon with 217. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chert Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, pagsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Fun and inspiring na kwentuhan, Sagot na yan ang programang Spotlight ng Daily Tribune. Makipagkwentuhan at kilalanin ng iba't ibang personalidad na kilala sa kani-kanilang larangan. Manood at makinig sa mga inspiring stories na kanilang ibabahagi kasama si Nina Ventura at Jojo Silvestre. Be ready ng mamangha at matuwa every Thursday alas 2 ng hapon dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama si Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkalusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng yan mapapanood tuwing alas 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
In other news, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board on Wednesday approved a 1 peso provisional increase on the minimum fare of the public utility jeepneys. The fare hike will cover jeepneys plying in Metro Manila, Region 3, and Region 4. The hike came following petitions by various transport organizations amid the continuous increase in prices of oil. As of June 1 this year, only 1.17 billion pesos out of the 3 billion pesos fuel subsidy allotted for PUV drivers have been distributed. The Philippine and German government signed 2 labor agreements to provide better employment opportunities for overseas Filipino workers, according to the Department of Labor and Employment. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said the signing of the bilateral labor agreements will facilitate the recruitment, deployment, and employment of Filipino professionals and skilled workers in Germany. Bello said that the 2 freshly signed bilateral labor instruments with Germany are the gifts of the Philippine government to Filipino migrant workers, in recognition of their sacrifices, perseverance, and diligence that have kept our nation afloat amidst the global crisis in the last 2 years. The letter of intent was signed by the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, represented by Administrator Hans Leo Kadak of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, and the German Federal Employment Agency, represented by its Director for International Relations, Alexander Wilhelm. In sports, Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka has urged his team to fight fire with fire as they prepare for the physical challenge of the Golden State Warriors in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Warriors outmuscled the Celtics in their series-leveling Game 2 win on Sunday, with Golden State enforcer Draymond Green leading a superb defensive performance that shut down Boston's scoring threat. Green was a thorn in the side of the Celtics lineup throughout the win, sparring both physically and verbally with Boston's players incessantly, and Udoka says he has given his players no special instructions in how to deal with Green other than to be who you are. Celtics ace Jaylen Brown was involved in a flashpoint with Green in Game 2 after being fouled by the Warriors star on a 3-point attempt. The two ended up in a shoving match after tangling on the floor, and Brown later accused Green of trying to yank his shorts down. Brown said Tuesday he planned to ignore any needling by Green in Game 3. And in business, the main equities gauge posted another uptick on Wednesday, even with global growth concerns, while the peso finished the day sideways against the US dollar. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index rose by 0.23% or 15.61 points to 6,769.62 at the closing bell. The broader all shares followed with a jump of 0.18% or 6.33 points to 3,604.84. Regina Capital Development Corporation's head of sales, Luis Limlingan, said that the Philippine shares rose for the second consecutive day as global markets shrugged off some signs of an economic slowdown ahead of a key inflation reading. Volume reached 744.91 million shares, amounting to 5.37 billion pesos. Advancers led decliners at 109,278, while 46 shares were unchanged. Meanwhile, the local currency finished the day again in sideways mode at 52.915 from 52.95 in the previous session. That wraps up the stories tonight. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank Empire Eastlands Holdings Incorporated, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of the Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Miguel Pautagonan, and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
Ang Daily Tribune may digital shows na din. Dahil sa mas lumalaki at mas lumalakas nating tribu, handog sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang mga programang magbibigay buhay araw-araw. Be informed at mag-good vibes tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Be updated sa news and happenings sa Tribune News on Q. Mas kilalanin pa natin ang mga paborito nyong atleta sa programang The Athletes Tribune. Alamin ang latest entertainment sa programang What's Up. Ma-inspire sa mga kwentong hatid ng Perfect. Search lang ang Daily Tribune sa inyong Facebook at Tribune Now on YouTube. See you there, mga katribu!
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its vibrant community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.